Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Friday night chop session with Stormy B Man for this Friday, January 12th, 2024. And we are back with another chop session. This is number 230 in the series of chop sessions. We're calling this one Beterbiev versus Smith, the unified light heavyweight title, which will be taking place tomorrow night from Quebec, where Arthur Beterbiev, who resides in Canada at this time, is defending his unified light heavyweight titles against Callum Smith, with the hopes of being successful in finally facing Dmitry Bivol in a showdown for undisputed, possibly in Saudi at a later point in this year. I want to say welcome everybody that's out there. Still a little bit under the weather. My voice is not as strong as it usually is, so I'm going to be taking my time here. So I want to say welcome to everybody out there. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you've had a blessed week. And as you look around, you see that Stormy has added some hardware to the set here for the Friday night chop session. There's going to be a couple more little changes that I do for this. I had one time had some hardware displayed on the set, and I had removed it, but I thought that, being it's a new year, we'll come back. And since this is an era of guys going for undisputed, why not display the hardware that the hard work pays off to attain, huh? This is like really nice. You got the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and WBC titles that are presented here in their glory. And we've seen two men within the past year go for 2 times undisputed in 2 different weight divisions. Terrence Bud Crawford being the first, and Inoue doing it in a shorter amount of time, being the second in the 4-belt era. So that's a mark for people to shoot for, huh? It's really something to be said. You see, there are ways that fighters can find their way through the sport and become successful and write their own legacy. You don't always have to just chase that money, huh? You don't have to always just do that. There are other ways. And these guys, hey, they're working it. And they should be acknowledged when they do that. So it is what it is. See who we got in the building thus far. Who we got out there? Shareable is in the building with the channel emojis. What's going on, Shareable? Appreciate you showing up with the emojis. Saying blessings, Stormy in chat. My brother Stephen L. the Mac is back. Saying sensei. Anthony Bolton is back also, saying salute. And Jimmy Bernard is in the building saying salute, sensei. What's good, chat? Smash the like button. Ratchet since 91. It's been a minute, saying, yo, what's happening with you, Ratchet? And of course, Shareable with the glove and the flames. It's lit. Yeah. Hen Dog is back, saying salute, Stormy and the fam. Yeah, man. Yeah. Jimmy Bernard says, get well soon, Stormy. Hey, man, I'm trying, I think they got something going around. They're spraying out in the atmosphere, because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about being afflicted, huh? You got to be careful. And I think they got something that even masks cannot slow down, huh? but they ain't gonna slow down the grind, because that's why we here. Am I right? That's why we're here. Get that grind. Yeah. So with this weekend coming up, again, a big fight, there have not been a lot of people talking about the match that's coming up this weekend. I believe it will be broadcast on Sky Sports, ESPN, and there may be another outlet that this fight will be broadcast. As I check right now, I know it's definitely ESPN and Sky that'll be broadcasting this fight, so we look forward to it. The estimated ring walks for Beterbiev and Smith will be roughly around 9:30 p.m. Central Time, give or take what transpires on the undercard. And we'll get into talking about this card. We'll get into talking about the fighters. But there's a lot of boxing news going on, man. I mean, so much to the degree that it's kind of hard to keep up with things, you know. We can touch on that a little bit. Let's see who we got here. Just trying to get some things set up here in the backdrop. Let's see, didn't want to do it that way. Do it this way. I mean, even down to the latest on Clarissa T-Rex Shields and Alicia Baumgardner bumping into each other on a flight, no less, where they both were, you know, making travels this week, and the two of them crossed paths, and they had to say something to each other. You know what I mean? So it's just funny, man. The two of them both have mouths, right? So they can talk the talk. Clarissa is definitely one that is one who can express herself. Alicia Baumgardner, as Clarissa has pointed out, is in a situation now. She's kind of serving a suspension for testing positive. You know what I mean? So it's like she's keeping herself relevant by starting up this talk about Clarissa, and Clarissa's getting prepared for another MMA fight. So unless the women in boxing that are near and around Clarissa's division want to make something happen, I guess she's going to head right on over into the crossover, and she don't have time for what's going on with the likes of Baumgardner. But even with that being said, there are some women fights coming up. There's a couple of women fights on the undercard of Beterbiev and Smith. You may want to be tuning in for that, because some of the ladies have advanced beyond novice. Some of these women are now truly competing, and they're worth tuning in to watch their fights. So just take note of that. Oh, here we go. 704 Joe popped up in the chat, y'all. I said Baumgardner. He said, did someone say Baumgardner? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what was said. You didn't hear wrong. And I'm sure William will be popping up very soon too. The only reason that he hasn't yet, he might still be working and trying to get home from work to see if Stormy gonna mention something that'll allow him, you know, to pop up for real. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Yeah. Healer the teacher is in the house. What's going on with you, Healer? Salute to you, brother. Hope you're doing well and being blessed and favored, bro. Appreciate you. Look at Shower out there with the face palm. She said, oh no. Yeah, we got the creeps are in the building, Shower. You can't deny that. They out there and, they want to let you know, huh? They give you all kind of signs and signals, even if you don't want them. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. But so they were on flight, and there was a little bit of banter going back and forth between the ladies. More on that a little bit, but I'm gonna get to something that I was gonna do a video, still might do a video on it. Going back to this fight from last week where Tony Weeks stepped in and stopped Lawson as he was battling with Virgil Ortiz Jr. in the first round. Some information has come out. I don't know the validity of and truth about everything, but there are instances of men talking about the situation where referee Tony Weeks stepped in and stopped that fight way too early. Just a byline for what we're talking about here is the fact that Macadus Mac, what's going on with you, brother? It had been revealed that through some type of social media post, Tony Weeks was allegedly to have said that they had it on doctor's advisement that there were circumstances concerning Lawson where he may have had an aneurysm or something going on with his lab scans that didn't look good. It required not a second opinion, but also a third opinion, because the first two opinions were that this was a positive situation. The third opinion allegedly allowed for it to come off, meaning the fight. And Weeks was to have been directed, if he saw something that didn't look good, to make his presence felt. And he did that very early in the fight. Now, I'm saying allegedly with a lot of this because what's fact is fact and what's speculation is speculation. So to not necessarily try to be correct for the sake of wanting to put information out there, I'm basically repeating some things that I've heard and can only say alleged at this time. The Weeks social media post was retracted, but not before people had screenshot and whatnot, right? So it's like, here you go, and you've got, again, like we know to be done, when people put stuff out there, retractions happen, but not before others get their little bits on it and can get it out there to the public. So with that, it's been conversation. I had listened to Teddy Atlas on his show earlier in the week, and he expressed with Kent, his guy, that if any of that be true, that not only the commission should be shut down that allowed that fight to go through and be sanctioned, but all the parties involved, the physicians involved, Weeks' involvement, And why would Weeks be involved to the degree that he knows a fighter's medical information, which is supposed to be private, right? So all of these things have really started a bonfire of circumstances that are rolling down the street, and the car is aflame. And I'm telling you, it's not a good look for the sport at all. And Tony Weeks, who recently also stopped the fight prematurely, has had 2 high-profile incidents where he became judge, jury, and convictor of the circumstances. And a lot of times that doesn't bode well for an official, a referee. There are some people calling for that he not referee anymore, or he be suspended, or he be subjected to sensitivity training in his line of work. I mean, I don't know how much more sensitive he can be that he can't stand to see a guy get punched anymore, when he allowed Tyson Fury to almost bleed to death in his fight. But that's another story. But we're hearing a lot. And recently also Pro Box TV, the guys got together on there. You had Sean Porter, and you had Paulie Malignaggi, and they all gave their thoughts on here. And it's just interesting to hear what was said about this. Universal Truth is in the building. What's happening with you, Universal? Good to see you. Shower with the face palm again. She says Badu Jack too. Yeah, Badu Jack as well. It's not cool. It's not cool what we're seeing. But I have a little sound bite, a little bit of something based on this from the guys from ProBox. Salute and shout out to ProBox TV for this audio.
The fact that we're talking about the same man doing the same thing twice in 2 relatively big profile fights, it raises the eyebrow of the boxing hall of that commission. It also raises the eyebrows to the Weeks himself. Speaking of Weeks, the question has to be, what are you seeing? What are you being told prior to the fight that's making you make the decision that you're making? Number one thing is, even before we get to him, we have to get to who's the person or the people that hold him responsible for those actions. We can see that they're not cause for it, and there's why that happened. I go as far as to say, hey, maybe these referees and these judges need to do their physicals the same way that these fighters are. We're making sure that we're healthy. Let's make sure that you're healthy. Let's make sure that your eyesight is what it was 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. How long have you been doing this? Shows to me, number one, this one, 2 things. Either there's a conversation you had with you prior to a fight, or you have deteriorating health. Nobody knows about it, because in both situations, in this situation this week, Lawson and Ortiz, they both situations were caused for. And like I said, this is an open-ended conversation. And at the end of the day, is anyone going to really truly have a conversation with Thomas and say, hold him responsible and show him that he's being held responsible? Is anyone going to go to the other commission, hold them responsible, show us that they're being held responsible? To me, this is just classic boxing. We'll move on, and slowly but surely people will forget about it. So it's terrible to me, and it's despicable, and I hate it.
Sean, in answer to what's going to be done, absolutely nothing. Like you said, this is boxing being boxing, boxing doing boxing. And this is either a case of corruption or ineptitude. Either way, Tony Weeks should not be reffing big fights anymore.
Now, I just want to say this. I know that it's a little bit low, you guys. I can't get it louder than that. That's how it came across on their broadcast. I'm actually just playing their broadcast without showing you the screen And you know, my mic and everything is turned up about as loud as it could be. But I apologize for the audio being a little bit low. Let me see if I could play it through another way. Give me 1 second. If I can do it this way. Give me 1 second, fam. Okay. We can try to do it like this. In the meantime, I muted my music so I can try to get this. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can hear it now, family. I will replay what what he had to say so that you guys can hear this.
We're talking about the same man doing the same thing twice in two relatively big profile fights is
how was that, family?
Of the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, or excuse me, the Nevada State Commission, and it also raises eyebrows to Tony Weeks himself. When you're speaking to Weeks, is the question now has to be, what are you seeing? What are you being told prior to the fight that's making you make the decision that you're making? Number one thing is he has to be honest. But even before we get to him being honest, we have to get to who's the person or the peoples that are going to hold him responsible for those actions. We can see that they're not cause for, and we don't know why they're happening. I go as far as to say, hey, maybe these referees and these judges need to do annual physicals the same way that these fighters are. You're making sure that we're healthy. Let's make sure that you're healthy. Let's make sure that your eyesight is what it was 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. How long have you been doing this? For you to make that kind of mistake shows to me, number one, there's one or two things happening. Either there's a conversation being had with you prior to a fight, or you have deteriorating health and nobody knows about it, because in both situations with Barroso and Rowley, and then this situation this week with Lawson and Ortiz, they both situations were uncalled for. And like I said, man, this is an open-ended conversation, because at the end of the day, is anyone going to really truly have a conversation with Tony Weeks and hold him responsible and show him that he's being held responsible? Is anyone going to go to the athletic commission, hold them responsible, and show us that they're being held responsible? To me, this is just classic boxing doing boxing. We'll move on, and slowly but surely people will forget about it. So it's terrible to me.
Now, that right there was Sean's point of view on this. And even though he spoke and covered a few things, this discussion was very important, you guys, because one, the accountability of Weeks, two, the addressing of the fact that he should be removed from the sport by Chris Algieri, who will be speaking in just a moment. 3, Paulie is adamant about there's ineptitude or corruption, and either one, there's no place for that in the sport, because you're playing with men's lives who don't play in that square arena. They put their lives literally on the line to do what they do, and then to have someone that's either incompetent or on the take really puts and taints a different picture of what you're watching. So I'll let Sean finish out, and then Chris Algeria is going to come in.
And it's despicable, and I hate it.
Sean, in answer to what's going to be done, absolutely nothing. Like you said, this is boxing being boxing, boxing doing boxing, and this is either a case of corruption or ineptitude. Either way, Tony Weeks should not be reffing big fights anymore.
Champ, I'm going to disagree because Tony Weeks threw the people that usually cover for him under the bus. By putting out that tweet about.
What's going to happen with that, Paulie?
Now they may take it on, they may put it on him. Now they may suspend him and veil it as, and he hasn't been looking good and not doing his job. We're going to suspend him. Usually, guys, they don't care.
When Paulie said that, Sean laughed because he's saying they would flip it and put it back on Tony Weeks and make him take the fall for all of this. But understand, when I set this up for you all, I wanted you to hear something that was very important, or be reminded of something very important. Why did Tony Weeks, if he actually did, we can only say allegedly, but why would he have access to Lawson's medical circumstances and conditions? He's the referee of the fight. He's not supposed to know if this guy has had, some iffy test results from a physician. He's not supposed to know that. What happened with the non-disclosure for privacy between the athlete and his medical physicians? And the commission, if they were aware of these kind of circumstances, why was that fight sanctioned and allowed to go on? Remember, even Virgil Ortiz, the other man in this fight, had some issues prior to this fight. He hadn't fought in over 17 months because he couldn't pass a training camp and get to a weigh-in because something medically was going on with him. So you actually got two guys in there, allegedly, who may have had questionable health circumstances, and this fight was allowed to go forward. And Ortiz, who had an advantage because he got his shots off first and everything, and Tony Weeks stepped in and stopped the fight in his favor, and it left the commentators, broadcasters, saying such things like, well, at least Virgil looked good and strong. He did. How so? Because if you ask me, there wasn't enough action to really determine that. And the way Weeks jumped in, it was before we could even see if Lawson was really hurt or if Weeks was doing something to make sure that no man got hurt in there. And I'm sure Frederick would like to argue his case on either side, whether he did have some medical clearance that was pushed through or whether he was legitimately competing and he was robbed of an opportunity to do just that. There's so much wrong here. And remember, when I do my post-fight shows, I touch on these things, but I actually call for other content creators to please step in and show a united front and talk about these kind of things, because it's about the health and well-being of the fighters. We pay to watch them. We should also pay attention to their health circumstances, the violations that put their lives in jeopardy outside of what they do competing against one another, and how these people take advantage of them and take money from them and everything else. And I say this on a consistent basis. I've called for bad judges. I've called for their names to be listed. I've called for the officials in the ring, the referees, the same. I've called for these promoters who align themselves. They'll cover one guy that's been testing dirty for PEDs or some other affairs, and they'll go tooth and nail for this guy, but for another guy, they'll leave him out to wash. We've seen all of this imbalance and unjust happening in the sport right before our eyes. And I ask people to, really focus on the things that you really should focus on instead of focusing on Stormy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you look at these things, you see it for what it is. And now you have some of these former fighters, like these three gentlemen on this show. They cannot hold it any longer. These men are telling you the truth. They are retired. They don't have an iron in the fire. They're just telling it like it is. So please pay attention when they start speaking the truth, because a lot of times now it's right in front of your face, and people are so accustomed to being lied to and deceived and everything that they don't really almost care anymore. But it's up to us to care, you see. But I'll let these guys go forward.
There's no accountability. But because he went after them by doing that, he threw them under he threw the commission under the bus.
He threw himself under the bus, basically.
Well, he did, of course, but now they may veil it as you know what? He hasn't really been looking like he's been doing his job correctly. We're gonna have to put him on.
But Paulie, so yeah, they're gonna scapegoat.
It'll veil it as like, oh, well, Vegas finally holding accountability. No. It wouldn't be. It would just be for this time, because if Vegas held accountability, he would have still been on suspension for the Barocho fight. He would have never been able to do this fight to begin with. So the only reason there would be accountability is because he actually went after them himself.
But that's my point, though. He's going to be a scapegoat for them to keep doing what they're doing. So ultimately, boxing is going to do boxing. Nothing's going to change. Yeah, we won't have Tony Weeks anymore, but it'll be the next ref with so and so name. Boxing doing boxing. Paul, Sean, you said it perfectly.
And so, very interesting to see with Tony Weeks and that whole situation. So, safe to say he should be obviously held accountable. But what about the allegations of the fact that he saw the medical reports and before the fight, and then how that affected his judgment in the ring?
Listen to this part, family.
How does that happen? Where he gets medical? Have you ever heard that before?
I've never heard that before. That's one of two things. Number one, he's exposing why he jumped in so fast. Right. You're also exposing someone giving you information that they should not have been giving you. You're also showing information that's being given. If you fail one exam and it's showing that you may possibly have an aneurysm or something along those lines, the fight should be called off. You should be bringing in somebody who's ready to take on this fight so that you don't lose the promotion. The list goes on. So, I mean, just across the board, bottom line is this is an open-ended conversation, because there's so many red flags that have never been taken care of between the
Yes, and I do agree with everything that Sean is saying right now, but it's even deeper than that. I want to say salute to Sheena out there with the channel emojis. What's good with you? She says, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. MP WTF in the building. What's happening with you, bro? I see you out there. The Jab Jamboree is in the building. What's happening with you, Act? And Steph Brown is out there as well. Salute to you, Steph Brown. I saw your comment a little bit earlier, but we were cooking on this, trying to get things out here to you. Let's listen to Sean finish up here.
Mission between promoters, between managers, and even as far as it goes between the fighters. The fighters know what their results say. A fighter should have the ability to say, I don't want to take this fight, or something along those lines. You know what I mean? So Tony Weeks exposing that there was a faulty physical or something along those lines. Now you made it even worse. You made it worse on yourself because you knew it was happening and you allowed the fight to take place. You exposed it. Now you made it worse for the commission because they knew it was happening. Allowed it to take place. There's so much that needs to be done, and I don't have faith that anything's going to be done. So.
Yeah, that certainly is a situation there. Tony, you guys think Tony Weeks should be suspended and no longer a referee for big fights, or overall should be suspended? What do you think, Paulie, of the future of Tony Weeks there as a referee? Should he be suspended entirely?
I mean, I think being that this is something consistent, is he should be brought in and talked to, maybe taken off the schedule for some of the bigger fights in the future. Maybe go through like a little bit of a rehabilitation process, or maybe a probationary process. If you're gonna leave him on in some of these fights, maybe give him like a probationary situation where you're taking a closer look at his performances in some of these big fights and making sure that he's number one, still apt enough to hold his emotions in check and actually do a good job refereeing. And number two, make sure that he's, not on the take or whatever. And number three, like I said, I mean, I still think that there's a possibility that, this is a little bit of a deeper problem. It's not like anything else. I think he just might be a degenerate gambler, I think, I don't know how you would investigate that if you check a DraftKings account or whatever account. But, I mean, like I said the other day, if you bet on the stoppage, on a fight stopping, if you catch the exact round, you get 30 or 40 to 1 on your money. You know what I mean? Like if you catch the exact round. Because if you look at some of these fights are ending in randomly. Tony Weeks referee fights, I've said it the other day. Canelo Angulo ended randomly. Kovalev Ward 2 ended randomly. Barosho and Rolly ended randomly. This last one just ends randomly. Like it's like he made. I mean, again, it's just a possibility because you gotta put all the variables in there. He may be betting on the stoppage of the exact round, and now he needs to stop it no matter what on that exact round, and to catch 30 or 40 to 1 on his odds on his money. I don't know. I mean, again, anything's possible. And if you do that and you keep the A side winning, you kind of protect yourself in the.
Wow. Did you hear that? Now, see, Paulie, he just brought in something else about what if Weeks is gambling on these fights, man. You know what I'm saying? And he could have someone, he don't necessarily have to be making the bet himself. He could have someone making the bet on his behalf. I mean, there is, again, Paulie just dropped something else in there, bro. This is... It's not far-fetched, people. This is why I said it goes even deeper. Adewale M, what's happening? It's been a long time. DLP is out there. I see you. This is, oh man. But you see, this is what I'm talking about. We say we love this sport, right? These fighters are people that we want to cheer for and everything. We want the blood and the guts and all of that, right? But this other side, it exists, people. And you can't close your eyes and pretend like you don't see it. It's right here in front of your faces. Mr. Shelton, what's happening with you, bro? I see you out there.
Future going forward, because like we said, commissions don't give you any punishments anyway. Only the promoters will protest against you to be a referee in any of their fights in the future. So if you keep them happy, you're good. Again, these are all possibilities, and these are all just me thinking out loud. But I do think, at the very least, there's a probationary period maybe that should be imposed. Maybe let him keep working or put him on probation and see how he does.
By the way, official statement from the Nevada State Athletic Commission says that all contestants in the event were subject to full medical examinations and were cleared by medical experts to compete without restrictions. All right, let me pose this.
But that's the thing. That's lying without lying, possibly. I mean, if Lawson failed twice and then passed a third one, that statement is not a lie. What we want to know is, did Lawson fail twice before that? And then pass? Because that statement, although it can still be true and still be false by omission, so to speak, because you're omitting the fact of answering whether he had failed 2 tests before the third one passed, because that's really what we're curious about, and that is not addressed in that statement, which makes it even more suspicious. The fact that it's not addressed in that statement maybe makes us think, hey, maybe Weeks was onto something there. But again, like Sean said, it still makes him look bad, because then why were you reffing the fight? Well,
he's not supposed to have that information anyway, regardless of the fact he's not supposed to be given medical information about individual fighters. That's not par for the course. That's not how this works as an official.
Absolutely. See, now Chris Algieri came in with that cleanup batting right there, and he is in the lane that I'm standing in. That right there, what Chris Algieri just said. Why does Tony Weeks have access to that information? That's between the doctor and that patient. And in this instance is Frederick Lawson. Now, Tony Weeks having that information and then exposing it publicly like that, that's a violation of trust and everything. So it's like you have people that are just doing something corrupt on each and every end. And the person who is being harmed most in this is Frederick Lawson. He's not only getting punched in the face by Virgil Ortiz Jr., okay? He's being punched in the face by Tony Weeks, the commission that allowed the fight to take place, the doctor that medically cleared him, the two doctors that said no, and all of this reeks of an ugliness that no one should escape from this. Absolutely no one. Think about this, people.
Your job is your job. His job's not a doctor or a medical personnel in any way, shape, or form. He needs to call the fight in front of him. That's all.
So, going off something Paulie said real quick, that maybe Tony Weeks is on to something here. So, let's say the scenario is he's telling the truth here, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission let a boxer that shouldn't be in the ring fight. How does that scenario play out, Sean? How does that scenario play out if Tony Weeks is telling the truth? Then what happens after that?
The thing that we deal with as fighters, the thing that the three of us on this line right now, myself, Paulie, and Chris, deal with as analysts now for boxing, we deal with frustration because we, for a long time, have recognized incompetence in boxing, and we've had to fight through. Now, as analysts work through incompetence, I am done with this conversation because nothing's going to change from us talking about it right now. So this is incompetence. Nothing's going to change. It's sad. And, it makes me mad for the sport, mad for what I had to deal with and what fighters becoming behind me have to deal with.
But that's the thing, too. I mean, George, you make a point about what would happen if he's onto something. What would happen if this did happen? Well, all of a sudden you go down an entirely different rabbit hole of investigative work you've got to do, because you end up going down to, okay, well, why did that third doctor pass him? Was he just being paid off to just pass him? Now, should that guy's doctor's license be in jeopardy because he passed him when he shouldn't have passed him? Just do the favor to the commissioner, to the promoter, or if the commission knew this, why did they still allow it? Knowing that doctor may or may not be on the thing. Once you go down that rabbit hole, you got to start investigating even other people. It's a hole that I don't think a lot of people want to go down, because what they might find might force a lot of people to get in trouble, and it's the kind of thing that a lot of professional sports avoid when it comes down to going down this rabbit hole. It's why baseball tried to avoid that steroid scandal for a while until they had to address it, and so on and so forth. It's one of those things, and boxing, really, they just address whatever they want to address, because in reality, it's not one of the mainstream sports, so they can kind of just keep everything to in their lane and not have to address what they don't want to address. So this is one of those things where the people at the top may probably be saying, let's just be careful not to go down this investigation, down this rabbit hole, because it could open up a whole can of worms that we don't want to be opened. So they may just want this to go away, because all these possibilities, all these variables we're talking about, they would have to be discussed if you went down this investigative route. So we'll see.
Yeah, but George, your point, like at that point where you're asking, that's all speculative, because we don't know the answers to whether or not he failed it wouldn't be bad to talk to Lawson, talk to his team.
But Champ, here's the thing: that statement did not address the two failed.
No, I understand that. I understand.
Made that statement and said he did not fail two, but they didn't.
But the question from George is like, well, what if he did fail that? Again, that's why I'm saying that would be speculative. We don't know, and honestly, we're never going to know. But like you said, Champ, if we're gonna go and look, if there is corruption here, and the corruption doesn't stop, if it's Tony Weeks, it goes beyond that. It goes to these doctors. It goes to the promotion. It goes to the commission. So that, like you said, that's a big rabbit hole. I don't have enough tinfoil to make a hat right now, because I don't want to go down that hole. But it's that kind of situation.
Man, that is crazy, bro.
With that situation with Tony Weeks and the stoppage, and good luck to Sean Porter's Cleveland Browns in the NFL playoff.
Man, I tell you, that is rough. That is rough. I'll end that interview right there. I actually made an adjustment to my show. The description box, there's a link for that particular Pro Box clip there. Please go and click on it and watch it in its entirety for yourselves, so that you can know that this is the type of subject that needs to be put out there and spoken on, and I endorse that. I hope that those guys understand that I wasn't doing anything but putting them on to more ears and minds and hearts on the significance of this particular storyline. So that's pretty much about what I'm going to say about that subject and that situation. But something needs to be done. You heard Sean Porter speak with his frustration that he doesn't think anything is going to get done. But you'd be surprised how mountains can be moved when people get on one accord and start to say no more, to say enough is enough. We've seen those kind of changes in our history before, in our regular civilian lives. It can happen in the sport of boxing as well. And I'll tell you something, those people don't want to stop making their money. But if the money stops being meted out by the audiences who buy tickets, we could see some changes. So just let it be known. You know what I'm saying? Just let it be known. But I just thought I would share that, because I thought that was the type of story that really needed to have some discussion, and if anybody in the chat, has something to say, we can continue that discussion, because my goodness, it's important. Steph Brown says, clean this ish up. Yeah. And Shawa says, heads need to roll. Hen Dog said, the nail in the coffin. Yep. And Adewale M says, so there's potentially an underground gambling racket that involves referees and judges and possibly the medics. I mean, come on, man. This is like, man. You know what? Again, you see, and if you go to my main page, all right, my main page for this channel, I cover the sport of boxing, people. I talk about boxing, and we've seen and had examples, even very recently, that people like to talk about us. But when you're talking about the subjects, my body of work speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Just this past week, I had videos on, Parker possibly fighting Zhang, Barroso stunning Davis on the undercard of this Ortiz fight. Usyk and his preparation for, the Tyson Fury fight, how he's working on strength. Throwing weights up in the air and catching them. It's like, what's up with that? That sounds like an Artur Beterbiev type training move there. And even earlier today, a video I did on Artur Beterbiev. You know what I mean? I did a video almost 2 weeks ago talking about the boxers in 2024 receiving pension payouts. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my Stormybman briefs. Again, when you talk about these kind of things, it's important that you get that information out there. And even if you feel like it's a subject you might gloss over or whatever, but you have an appreciation that at least somebody touched on it, share that content, man. Share it so other people can be made aware of it. There were 33 fighters who were on a list to receive pension payouts. Did you know that? The state of California. I mean, there's some fighters who don't even know that they're on the list, people. Think about that. But you guys, you want to talk about, the same old subjects all the time. Think about it. Think about it. Yeah, and I did reignite my blues playing in the back. Stormy playing his blues tonight, huh? Yeah, that don't mean I'm blue. I just got a feel for the blues this evening. Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna have a little bit of a interlude while we enjoy this message from the channel, huh? Yeah, buddy. Y'all see that? You better get you something. Huh? Link is in the description box. But when you do, huh? Tell them Stormy sent you, huh? Yeah. I mean, we got some good stuff there, man. Some of them, I mean, did you see those mugs, huh? While you drink your little drinky drink, huh? You sitting there on a Saturday night watching your fights and you got the Sensei mug or the Stormy B-Man mug, man, huh? Yeah. Get you some of that stuff, man. What you waiting on? Shower says, love them blues. Yeah, that's why I dropped them tonight, man. That's why I dropped them blues for you tonight, because you know what? Stormy got some tunes, huh? But you know, I have to break it in with y'all a little easy, you know, because some of it might be like culture shock for some, because a lot of y'all like that thump and the bump, huh? But the only thing about that thump and the bump, sometimes it sends out the wrong vibe, huh? And then you get the wrong vibers, huh? And we don't want that, huh? We don't. So just know. Adewale says, yeah, that background tune is, what is that, a thumbs up? I ain't got my glasses on. Showers with the flames. Steph Brown says, those new Sensei heavyweight premium prints are pretty cool. Yeah, man. Get you something, bro. Get you something, man. I'm telling you. You know, I got a few, you know, because I wear them on the show to advertise my own stuff, but I don't have one on today. But, you know, I was out there shoveling that snow today, man, or at least pushing it, because, you know, shoveling give you a heart attack. Stormy ain't trying to have one of them, huh? I want to be around to see some of them fights that we ain't seen yet. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Sheena's laughing. But listen, we're going to get to talk about tomorrow night's main event, huh? We're going to get to talk about that. And before we do, let me just remind you that coming up a week from tomorrow night, we got Natasha Jonas taking on Michaela Mayer, huh? In a welterweight showdown. Listen, man, this is the type of fight that for women's boxing, dynamite, huh? I got a pre-video that I did. There's going to be some more, a breakdown of the actual fight that's coming, huh? But they've had some nice face-to-face sit-downs, you know, since the press conference. And we're getting closer. We're only a week away. So this coming up week, you know, is the weigh-in, the final press conference, all of that good stuff. And then next Saturday, the duel, huh? So don't forget that. And then coming up at the end of the month, huh? Canelo's twin brother, huh? John Ryder is going to be taking on Jaime Munguia. Yeah, Jaime Munguia, man, the man of 1,000 turndowns for title fights, huh? He don't want to fight nobody that might take him and body him, huh? It's like, what is up with that guy? And he seems to have more lives than a cat, because Jaime has been in some fights where, you know, some people have had a piece of him, huh? And, you know, he ain't trying to, I don't know what this is. Maybe he's fighting Ryder because he looks like Canelo, huh? And he's like, he looks like one of us, so I'll fight him. You know what I mean? And Canelo just, you know, beat the crap out of Ryder, huh? So it kind of makes sense, but don't. You know what I mean? It's like, that's one of those weird, you know, Earth 238, you know, an alternate reality type of deal there. I guess if you squint hard enough when you're looking at the TV during this fight, you can imagine that it's Canelo in there against Ryder until Munguia started going upside his head. Oh, man, boxing. The sport that you hate and the sport that you love, huh? The twins, huh? Yeah. But enough of the delaying. Let's talk about Beterbiev versus Callum Smith, man. This is a fight right here that a lot of people, man. You guys are laughing out loud at me talking about this stuff. Jimmy Bernard says Canelo's twin brother. Yeah. Shower with another face palm. How many face palms is that tonight, Shower? The face palms. But anyway, listen. This fight right here. The Smith camp is of the belief that Artur Beterbiev is ripe for the pickings, huh? They feel like Arthur's gonna come out there and catch a beat down by the 6'3", long-armed Callum, huh? I think that it hasn't been said any better than this. Wait, let me. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me just say this. As I go to the record books, this fight will see two fighters. Smith is 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. He's an orthodox fighter fighting out of the UK. Artur Beterbiev is 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. He's 38 years old. And he's on a 19-fight knockout streak. He either KOs or stops his opponents quite brutally on a regular basis. The last time I checked, 2 fights ago, Saul Canelo Alvarez won a unanimous decision in December of 2020 against Callum. He has fought twice since then against Gilbert Castillo Rivera and Matthew Bartoli. The Bartoli fight saw him in his first step up to light heavyweight get a stoppage, but Bartoli was just an opponent to get his feet wet in the waters of the light heavyweight division. But I have to say that the feet gonna get chopped off by the shark that swims in the depths of the light heavyweight division named Artur Beterbiev. This man is a wrecking machine. He goes upsides folks' heads, their bodies, everything. He's an expert at fighting in close, which Callum likes to do, by the way. But this is not a fight for him to do that. In my breakdown video, I talked about that, how that would be career suicide. But let me just say this. He set a record in a fight, Callum did, for number of jabs. One of the things that Artur does very well is take the jab away. Canelo took the jab away. Canelo neither hits as hard as Artur Beterbiev. He's neither strong as Artur Beterbiev and not as intimidating as Artur Beterbiev. And you don't intimidate people by looking at them. You intimidate them by doing something to them, and something that will make them dread. Joe Smith Jr. found that out in rapid fashion when he jumped in there against Artur and was stopped. He thought he would roll the dice and go out there and roll up on Artur, and Artur battered him like he was Reggie Jackson on the New York Yankees in October of the World Series, huh? Yeah! But to digress, this could be an interesting fight because Artur doesn't go out there just to get you out of there in one round. He doesn't fight that way. He's a meticulous fighter. He understands that he has 12 rounds to work with. And he'll use 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. But I'm telling you, when you get to that third quarter of a 12-round fight, the man does things that give his opponents reason for pause. He's able to make you feel the heat and pressure, fight at a faster pace than you normally do, expend more energy than you normally do, and you can find out very quickly that he doesn't care about pain. He doesn't care that you punch hard. He doesn't care that he might bleed. He's in there to break you down. John Scully was on Pro Box TV this week, and he interviewed with the guys over there, and he spoke about Artur Beterbiev. He's been with him since he turned pro, but he talked about Artur being a guy that didn't know what professional sparring was. They were bringing guys to the gym, and Arthur was banging and bashing them up out of there, and they had to tell him, hey, slow down, man. You're beating these guys. You're not going to have anybody to work with. Arthur was like, what do you mean slow down? He was like, it's a fight. He's like, no, it's not a fight. This is practice. You have to, take it a little easier on these guys. They're not the ones you want to get out of there like that. He didn't know sparring was like not all out. He was like Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was raw and Cuss would send him in there against some professionals. And he'd go in there and they're like, okay, we're going to work with this 17-year-old kid, right? And Mike is like, foom, fop, foom, foom, on top of these guys' heads. And they like, yo, wait, oh, slow down. It's like Mike was in there like a pit bull that got leased in the backyard on some people at a barbecue. So Arthur was like that too. They had to temper the guy. And I'm going to tell you something. His fight against Anthony Yard, which was in January of last year, Yard performed well. Rehydrated up to look like almost heavyweight because Yard was so much bigger than Arthur. But he took his time. And Yard was athletic. He could move. He had fast hands. He had good pop on his punches. But when Arthur started hitting him after like 5-6 rounds, you could see resignation on Anthony Yard's physical appearance. It was like, man, I still got 6 rounds to go. Yard had a good round. And he was doing so well, but that was like the best he could do in that particular round. And in the 7th round, Arthur came on stronger. It was like he was just debilitating Yard. And Yard's cornerman was like, hey, you got to stick, you got to move. And Arthur started cutting that ring down on the guy, banging him to the body and everything. And you could see Yard's legs are starting to go. Dude, that 8th round came around and Yard went down to his knees. He was like, you know what? And the people just said, you know what? We're going to stop this, man. We're going to stop this. And I'm glad they stopped it before Arthur really did some really bad stuff to him. But this was the worst part of that fight, y'all. Arthur went back to his corner after the fight was stopped. 8th round. And he told his cornerman, I was just warming up. Did you hear what I just said? Yard is in there fighting life and death. Like he's in there with Evander Holyfield or something. And this man said he was just getting warm. Man, I'm not exaggerating, people. I'm not exaggerating. This man don't be playing. Arthur. He's a serious guy. Serious. I remember the first time I saw him. I can tell you, I'm looking at his box rec right now. The first time I saw Artur Beterbiev was when he fought this guy, Radvijo Kalajic. He stopped that guy in 5 rounds. He had him down in the 3rd. And I said, who is this dude? Who is this guy? And then he fought Alexander Gavaskic after that, because you know Gavaskic wanted a fight with, at the time, I think that was like Adonis Stevenson. And Gavaskic was trained by Teddy Atlas. So when they went in there against Beterbiev, Gavaskic was doing good for like 2 rounds. But he was fighting hard at a pace that was like, that wasn't a good pace for him, because he's kind of like Beterbiev in a way that he builds in his fights to break guys down. But the way he was fighting so hard, what he was doing wasn't having any effect on Beterbiev. And I'm not saying that like Beterbiev was impervious or nothing, but he's a naturally strong man, meaning like he's rugged, he's tough. He's not like these paper mache guys that a lot of people love today. This man is a throwback. You can put him back there in the black and white days of Jack Johnson and James Jeffries and those guys, them old dudes from the early black and white real days, where they would just, you know, they weren't fat, but they were in shape guys. They didn't have all those muscles and everything, but they were just strong. That's this man. Dude, Gavaskic in the 7th round, I think it was, he comes back to the corner and he's telling Teddy like, I'm done. I ain't got no more. Teddy was like, oh, we're firemen. You know, we run into the building with the fire, and he's giving them his speeches and stuff. And I'm looking at Gavaskic and I'm saying, that dude is done, Teddy. You can't see, because your guy, he's not a chump. He's not. Gavaskic was a tough dude, a badass. But there's always, what do Stormy say? There's always a badder ass. Didn't I always say that? Man, Gavaskic went down 3 times in the 10th round to a TKO stoppage, bro. The dude he's amazing, because if we had a few more of those Artur Beterbievs, boxing would be on fire. But we don't. It's like we got a pretty good throwback boxer in Devin Haney. We got a pretty good knockout punching guy, but he's in the little weight classes in the new way. You got a rugged throwback guy in Artur Beterbiev. You got an aging veteran in Terrence Crawford. You know, it's like you got these guys sprinkled through the sport, but not a lot of them at the same place at the same time. And though certain divisions are laden with talent, these men aren't coming together to get in there with each other. So it's like we don't know how good the guys who we're told are good really are. And that's crazy. This man beat the crap out of Gavaskik, man. He beat that guy up so badly. That was in October of 2019. Gavaskik made a comeback last year in February and has fought 3 times. But he no longer looks like the guy that Beterbiev stopped in 2019. He's taken his share of lumps. But he told these people, yeah, Champion Hart, he said, I was just warming up when he stopped Anthony Yard. And when he fought Marcus Brown, they told him that that cut on his forehead from an intentional butt by Marcus Brown, by the way, they told him that we'll give you one more round. The cut is pretty bad. Man, he turned the heat up on Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown was looking over to the corner at Derek James like, yo, pull the towel out, you know. What was Apollo's trainer's name in the Rocky films? He was, throw the goddamn towel. It's like now, I'm not laughing at the fighters. I'm just laughing at the circumstances. It's like, dude, you need to know when to pull your guy out of danger. These dudes be miscalculating. They be like, he gonna get him this round. No, he ain't. We'll give him one more round. No, you don't. Don't do that. You know, the dude, he's getting slaughtered out there, bro. Slaughtered. That's why I have some respect for Anthony Yard's corner. They stopped that fight a few punches too soon. And that was great because I'm telling you, if they would have let Arthur finish him, he would have been finished for real. Huh? Now, Callum, he's going in there. He's confident in everything. He says that the guy is ready and ripe. It's his time. He said all the cliche things. Okay? But the one cliche thing that he hasn't acknowledged, I'm going to read to you a comment on my breakdown video from earlier today. This was so hilarious that I saved the comment because when I watched the comment section, this brother wrote in my comment section. Now, this is on the video. If you guys ain't watched the video, go watch the video. It's a pretty good breakdown video. It ain't long at all, about 7 minutes or whatever. But this brother wrote in my comment section on the breakdown video, he said, if Smith was a punching bag for Canelo Alvarez, he will be a corpse ready for autopsy for Beterbiev. I was like, man, I couldn't help but just laugh when I read that comment because Canelo had dude all banged up and everything. What he gonna do when General Zod unleash hell on him, bro? The Messenger 215, I see you out there. What's good? Champion Hart is cracking up. Shaw was laughing, saying, I'm saying he went ham on Brown's butt. Champion Hart says, right. It's like watching a bad movie thinking it's gonna get better. That's it right there, Champion Hart. That's it right there, bro. 704 Joe says Creed trainer should have slapped Rocky and threw the towel. He said, throw the goddamn towel. Man. You know, you can't make this stuff up, bro. You can't. It's like you watching the fight. Yeah, universal truth. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we love the sport, right? It's like the theater of the unexpected, even when you know what's going to happen. What can you say, man? What can you say, huh? Man, oh man. But I expect it to be good while it lasts. And like I said, Callum may even win some rounds. But if he try to show like nuts and guts, it's over for him. I'm telling you. It's over. He better play keep away. It's too late. Dancing in the dark. All of that stuff. He better be all of that. Because if he try to come in there realer than real deal Holyfield, then that's, hey, Arthur gonna show him how he feel. Man. Y'all don't know, man. One upside to this fight card is the fact that there's going to be another Chris and Billy sighting on the undercard. Chris and Billy, who's the WBC Continental America's super middleweight title holder, he's taking on a gentleman by the name of Rohan Murdoch, who's gonna get, bent in two. But it'll be a chance to see M. Billy, for, I think the last time we saw him in the ring was against Damon Nicholson back in September. Prior to that, he fought back in February of last year in one of the fights that were like Fight of the Year candidate against Carlos Gongora. That was a tough fight between those two guys. And M. Billy is a tough son of a gun, man. I think Murdoch has got his work cut out for him. Hopefully, he's got a final resting place cut out for him, because I'm telling you, some of these dudes, man, you know, it's just over for them, you know. Yeah, Shava, you saw that fight, Gongora? Man, that was like watching Hagler and Hearns for 4 or 5 rounds extra, huh? They were going at it. And Gongora was hurt a few times, and Billy was hurt a few times. And Billy, when he got hurt, he reminded me of Evander because he just got stronger. It was like, oh, you trying to hurt me? Take this. He came back. That was some good stuff. Very good stuff. I do declare that was good. So yeah. Now I think the fight that's going to be the co-main event will be the WBO Bantamweight title, where Jason Maloney is taking on a guy by the name of Saul Sanchez. Now Sanchez is 20-2. Okay, I saw them at the weigh-in. He looked like a strong young customer, but he's only got 12 KOs. He's 26 years old. And Maloney's from Australia. He's 33. Both of these guys are tiny too. They're 5'5", each of them. And only an inch separates them in reach. They're on only 66-inch reach. Crazy. Shawa says, Mbili is another machine. Gongora knocked him unconscious, then came back and whooped him. Yup. Steph Brown says, yeah, that was a nice introduction to Mbili for me. TD Sports, Thomas, what's going on with you, man? Salute to you as well, bro. Yeah. So, Maloney, he's going to have to be careful. He got stopped by Inoue back in 2020. It's October of 2020. He since have come back with victories, but no one on that level. And when Inoue knocked him out, Inoue lulled him to sleep. It was like Inoue just took him around a few rounds and then, boom! Get out the way. But yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I'm going to create a little poll here for you guys. Create a poll for you. Yeah, Adewale, Jason is a WBO title holder. Yeah. So I just put that poll up for you guys. I want to see how y'all rocking with this poll. Let me know. Let me know. The votes is coming in heavy for General Zod, man. I'm telling you. Man. You guys can go ahead and put your, hey, listen, I'm not arguing it one way or the other. I just put it up there for, get some interaction going on here. I gave my breakdown on what I think is going to happen. What I think is really going to happen is Arthur is going to show him something he doesn't believe or know that he can do in the ring. That's when it's going to turn for him. And so many times, guys who have knockouts, like in Arthur's case, it's misconstrued. Yeah. So, I don't know what that buffering was just then, but yeah. 88 Sports Talk, what's good with you, man? Jimmy Bernard says, doesn't look good for Smith. It's boxing. Anything can happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything can happen. But I look forward to it, man. I look forward to it. Fighters like Arthur, it's like I like them because when they're not fighting, you don't hear them. They're not in the news and all of that. Then you hear about him fighting. He comes out there, take care of business, give you an exciting fight. Then he goes back into wherever he's at, seclusion. I like that. I don't like these guys that are in the news every day tweeting and stuff like this and, calling somebody a duck and this and that stuff. I'm like, man, please. I'm so sick of that. You guys are divas. Yeah, it's like some of the fighters of today, they better outside the ring than they are in the ring. It's like the celebrity of it all. It's like, yeah, man, I was on 3 shows last week, It's like, when the last time you was in the gym? Huh? Shoot, man. Jimmy Bernard says, Beterbiev and Bivol. Sensei, you don't hear nothing between them. Well, Bivol has allegedly signed his portion of a contract for them to meet contingent on Arthur being successful here. We'll see. We'll see. That's right, Champion Hart. Hagler used to do it like that too. He'd come out, that old bald head be shining under the lights. They announce the fight at the press conference, and he say, I'm preparing for war. And the next time you see him at a press conference, he got that hat on that say war and some dark shades on. And then the next time you see him, he's at the weigh-in. At 156.5 pounds, the world champion, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And the fight be over. And they say, and still the middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Didn't matter who was on the other end. That's what it would be. Listen, man. Used to love it, bro. Used to love it, man. That's Beterbiev. It's like, hey, he'll take on all types of challenges. You might even shake him up. You might dart his eye. You might bust his nose. But he gonna keep fighting until he gets you up out of there. Hey, y'all, he's like a classic horror film villain, like Michael Myers or, Jason or something. You done shot him. You done threw a grenade in there, and he's still the smoke clear, and he's still walking towards you coming. You done set him on fire and everything. You set him on fire, it started raining. You slash him and cut him. He bleed, but he don't stop. The dude just keep coming, man. They gonna make a monster movie about this dude. It's Beterbiev. Starring Callum Smith. Man. Steph Brown says, I find myself running out of people to talk to about the sport. Just want to talk drama. That's lame. Yeah, Steph Brown, listen. Again, this whole show, did I not bring you guys some decent content tonight? Huh? I found that subject earlier that, was worth talking about. And I did almost the first portion of this show on that because it needed that type of attention. You know what I mean? So this is what I do. You know what I mean? This is what I do. Other people, they can talk about me and all of that stuff, but this is what I do. Focus in. DLP says, oh yeah, thumbs up. Alawale M says, hell yeah. Steph Brown says, very worthwhile. 88 says, I tried to tell Marcus Brown, dumbass, to bring a shotgun to the ring. He said, no, fam, I got this. Oh, man. Hey, Adewale M says, very calm and mature content, sir. Listen, hey, 88, you weren't here earlier. But, listen, I was talking about, you might have heard it. I did say it probably by the time you had come in. But I said that when Arthur was beating down these guys, it'd be like Rocky's Apollo's corner man telling Rocky, throw the goddamn towel. It's like Arthur beating these guys down, and their coaches and trainers be like, we're going to give him one more round. He could possibly turn it around. I'm be like, no, he ain't. No, he ain't. You know, in them betting parlors, when they pull that shutter down, no more bets. Boom. It's like they pull that thing down when they be like, Callum's chances still on the board. We got 20-1, 8-5, whatever, right? And then when the thing start flipping, and it's like, oh, that's a really big odd. They be like, okay, no more bets. They pull that shutter gate down. Doom. It's over. Oh, man. Boy, I tell you. Okay, we got 13% now that thinks that Smith is going to get a KO. All right, that's good. That's good. I like to see that. Because I'm not trying to influence anybody. I mean, I might try to make you laugh and everything to enjoy, you know, what's being spoken on here. But I'm not trying to influence. Be your own influencer. You know? Yeah, see, y'all, Stormy came out with them blues on y'all tonight. Y'all wasn't expecting that one. Wasn't expecting that at all. See, you never know, huh? Yave, what's good with you, bro? I see you out there. I see you. If you're just getting in, Yave, you're going to have to go back and catch the replay of the first hour of the show, man. I gave a nice little segment where we talked about this Tony Weeks situation, you know, him stopping that fight and the tweet that he put out on social media this week, the information on Frederick Lawson and all of that. We did a nice breakdown. And there is a link in the description box for tonight's show, advertising where that article came from of ProBox TV, the audio sound bite that I played. Hopefully those guys, you know, can appreciate me sharing that and breaking that down for you and also endorsing their channel, because they're doing some good things over there. George Jakovic is over there with those guys, and George's family. So that's, you know, that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do, you know. But yeah. Go ahead and vote on that poll too, Yave. That poll up there, man. Who you got? Arthur by KO, Arthur by decision, Smith by KO, or Smith by decision? Yeah. '88 says, sad part, Bivol gonna have everybody fooled the first part of that fight. Then the destruction gonna take fight back. 88, you know, and that's, hey, listen, that's pretty much how they all go for him, because The man ain't in no hurry, bro. It's like, you ever watch Hannibal Lecter in the Silence of the Lambs films, or Hannibal, or any of the other films? When he is getting ready to go to work on somebody, he just be taking his time. He be sharpening up his silverware and cleaning it and polishing it, putting a fresh, clean plate on the table, sauteing something in the oil, and it's like he pouring a nice glass of wine, and it's like, dude, he cooking somebody. It's like, this is Arthur Beterbiev. And he be playing that little operatic music. And it's like he just be having a good time. Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal Lecter, man, is like one of the best roles I ever seen. That guy had you cracking up and scared to death at the same time, because he out there going to work on somebody. Hello, Clarice. Man, oh man. I'm telling you. Steph Brown says, also, Stormy, I wanted to join the channel, but I don't see where I can. You could go to my main page, Steph Brown, where, Stormy B Man, and across the screen under where it says home, videos, shorts, live, playlists, community, and membership. I think you click on memberships. When you click on memberships on the main page there, you could join from there, bro. On the main page. Steph Brown. Jimmy Bernard says, Smith 11% KO. We shall see. You know what? It was 13% a moment ago, but the votes went up to 20. So somebody might have hedged their bet. Listen, when I said that about the all bets are off and the gate get pulled down, somebody changed before the gate came down. 88 is laughing. He says, yep, Stormy. All facts. Yep. Man. Woo, Charlie. Man, I got a acknowledge my man Focus Ball out here. Focus Ball is my brother, and we advertising for the Focus Ball equipment. So here we go.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the focus ball. Make sure you go and get yourself something. Stormy B-Man merchandise, the focus ball. Do your thing. But hey, it's been a great show, you guys. I appreciate the interaction for tonight. I like the vibe and energy that you guys brought this evening. I appreciate your love and support. We know that there's plenty of drama out there going, but we're full steam ahead. Damn the torpedoes. We're doing this thing in 2024. Outstanding boxing content as the channel begins to grow. And we're going to have some great things transpiring out here for you guys. I just want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we will catch you guys next week. Enjoy the fights tomorrow night. There will be a post-fight show rocking and rolling in 2024. I think I said 2023 a moment ago. That's a bad habit. Anyway, but salute to you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the fight. Peace.
What do you think of Negroes?
As good as any white man.